Imagine you're at a show. It was good, not great. A few people start clapping, then a few more, and suddenly you feel your own hands coming together. You're clapping, but did you really decide to? That feeling, that almost involuntary impulse, is one of the most common and least understood parts of our social lives. Clapping feels simple. 2 hands, 1 sound. We do it to show approval, to say thank you, to celebrate. But what if I told you that the decision to clap is rarely yours and yours alone? What if, most of the time, you're just a single instrument in a much larger orchestra, playing a piece of music you didn't know you were reading? Science and history both point to the same strange idea. You don't always clap because you decided to. Sometimes you clap because everyone else did. Today, we're exploring this ancient, automatic, and deeply social reflex. We'll look at where the habit came from, how it became a language all its own, and how modern science is proving that applause spreads through a crowd like a virus. By the end, you'll never see a standing ovation the same way again. The 2 histories of applause. To understand why your hands seem to have a mind of their own, we have to go back. Way back. Applause has 2 histories happening at the same time, a physical history and a social one. Physically, clapping is ancient. One leading theory is that it lies far back in our evolutionary history, long before complex language. Our primate ancestors may have used loud, sharp noises like clapping to grab attention, signal a threat, or express excitement. In a world without words, noise is power. Clapping is a tool that's both sound and signal. It says, "I'm here. Look at this," or "danger," but that's just the physical act. The real story begins when clapping becomes social. This is where it transforms from a simple noise into a language. For that, we can look to the ancient world. While there are mentions of clapping in the Bible as an act of celebration, it was in the theaters of ancient Greece and Rome that applause became a public institution. At the end of a Roman play, the lead actor would often shout, "Valete et plaudite," farewell and applaud, directly cueing the audience's response. Suddenly, clapping wasn't just an individual act of excitement. It was a collective voice. And the moment a behavior becomes a shared code, it stops being just a sound. It becomes a message that says, "We approve. We are unified. We understand the rules of this space." And once something becomes a message, society starts to shape it, control it, and even manipulate it. That's where things get really interesting. The art of engineered applause. The Romans didn't just clap, they turned it into a complex system. In Roman theaters, applause wasn't always a spontaneous outburst. Different sounds could show different levels of approval. Audiences might snap their fingers for mild appreciation, clap for more enthusiasm, or, for a truly spectacular performance, wave the flaps of their togas. It was a performance within a performance. It gets even more calculated. Wealthy patrons and emperors began organizing and paying for applause. The Roman Emperor Nero famously took a large group of followers on his concert tours to ensure he always received a roaring reception. Ancient sources mention this group included thousands of soldiers and knights. This practice became a full-blown industry centuries later in 19th century Paris. Theaters would hire a chef de claque, or a leader of the clappers, who would distribute free tickets to his team. These professionals were called claqueurs, and they were strategically placed in the audience to lead the response. They had specialists for everything. Some were paid to laugh loudly at jokes, rieurs. Some to cry during sad scenes, pleureuses. and others to shout encore at just the right moment. They could make or break a show, and performers often paid them on the side to guarantee a positive night. This might sound like ancient history, but we still see remnants today. Think of the applause sign on a TV sitcom set, or the canned laughter that tells you when something is supposed to be funny. The technology has changed, but the principle is the same. Create the sound of approval, and the feeling will follow. The claqueurs proved that applause isn't just a reaction, it can be an action designed to influence others. And that leads perfectly to what modern science has discovered: the science of social contagion. So why did you start clapping at that show you thought was just okay? The answer lies in a phenomenon called social contagion. Researchers now talk about applause spreading through a crowd much like an infectious disease. In a fascinating study published in the Journal of the Royal Society Interface, researchers filmed audiences and analyzed the exact moment each person started and stopped clapping. They found that the decision to start clapping was heavily influenced by social pressure. The probability that you'd start clapping increased in direct proportion to the number of people who were already clapping. It didn't even matter if they were sitting right next to you. The key factor was the overall volume of applause in the room. Think about that. Your brain hears the rising sound of the group and interprets it as a social cue. The pressure to join in builds until it feels almost automatic. The researchers described it as people getting infected with the need to clap. There's no single tipping point. It's a gradual rising tide. The same thing happens when it's time to stop. The decision to stop clapping is also socially influenced. People are reluctant to be the first to stop, just as they are hesitant to be the first to start. This is why applause can sometimes feel awkwardly long or die out suddenly. It's a collective negotiation happening in real time. The length of an ovation often has more to do with the group's internal dynamics than with how good the performance actually was. This explains all those weird applause moments we've all been a part of. The single, lonely clap that hangs in the air, the polite, scattered applause after a mediocre corporate presentation, or the standing ovation that seems to build from nowhere. You stand up not necessarily because you were blown away, but because the person in front of you did, and then the person next to them, and suddenly not standing feels like a social risk. Your brain isn't just asking, "Did I enjoy that?" It's asking, "What is the group doing?" And more often than not, it follows the group. You're conforming, and you might not even realize it's happening. So, we know applause can be engineered and that it spreads contagiously. If you're finding this look into the hidden psychology of everyday life as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Because next, we'll see how this ancient behavior is still shaping everything from our politics to our online world in ways you might not expect. Applause in the modern world. It's easy to think of applause as something that only happens in a theater or a stadium, but the fundamental instinct behind it is everywhere. The need to signal group approval and conform to that signal is a core part of human behavior, and it's alive and well in the 21st century. In politics, applause is a powerful tool for showing legitimacy and momentum. During a major political speech, the frequency and duration of applause are often tracked by news channels as a real-time measure of support. It creates an audible landscape of agreement. In public ceremonies like graduations or award shows, applause acts as a social marker, telling everyone, "This moment is important, pay attention." But the most modern evolution of applause isn't happening with our hands at all. It's happening with our thumbs. The like, the share, the retweet, the upvote. These are like the digital clacks of our time. When you scroll through social media, you see constant signals of group approval. A post with thousands of likes carries a social weight that an identical post with 3 likes does not. That number is a form of applause. It tells you other people approve of this, which, as we've learned, makes you more likely to approve of it too. The technology has changed, but the social instinct is exactly the same. We look for cues to understand what the group values, and then we join in to show that we belong. Online, just like in a Roman theatre, approval can be engineered. Coordinated networks of accounts, or bots, can create the illusion of a massive online consensus, triggering a cascade of likes and shares that looks like a spontaneous, worldwide standing ovation. So perhaps applause was never really about the hands. Maybe it's about coordination and connection. A room of people clapping or a post going viral is a crowd declaring in unison, "We see this. We feel this. We are together in this." And the subtle details, the speed of the clapping, the volume, whether it starts politely or erupts, all of this is a kind of social grammar that we are all fluent in, even if we can't explain the rules. What this means for you: the next time you're in an audience and feel that urge to clap, take a moment and just notice. Ask yourself a few simple questions. Did I start clapping because I genuinely, independently wanted to? Or did I wait to hear what others were doing? Did the sound of the room influence my timing? Am I clapping to show approval, or am I clapping to feel like part of the group? There's no right or wrong answer. But that small moment of awareness uncovers a much bigger truth about who we are. We love to think of ourselves as individuals who make our own choices. But so much of our social behavior, from laughing at a joke to feeling the energy of a concert, is a group event that we just happen to experience individually. We are constantly syncing up with each other, often without a single conscious thought. And in a way, there's something beautiful about that. Clapping is one of the oldest technologies we have for turning a private feeling into a public signal. It bridges the gap between our internal world and the shared experience of the crowd. It's an ancient ritual that allows us to connect with strangers, to create a moment of shared energy from nothing but air and skin, and to participate in a conversation that's been going on for thousands of years. So the next time you hear a room fill with applause, remember what you're really hearing. It's not just the sound of hands. It's the sound of history, psychology, and the powerful, invisible social forces that bind us together. That simple act is one of the clearest and oldest signs that human beings are fundamentally wired to move as one. And that leaves us with one final, bigger question. If our decision to clap isn't always our own, what other parts of our lives, our beliefs, our tastes, our emotions, are we just copying from the crowd without even noticing? I'd love to know what you think. Have you ever caught yourself clapping on autopilot? Share your story in the comments below. And if you enjoyed uncovering the hidden science behind our behavior, do us a favor and give this video a like, and be sure to subscribe for more explorations into the strange and fascinating things we do every day. Thanks for watching.